Forgive me, Stitchers, for I have sinned. It has been over a month since I have done a video, and in that time, I have received 3 boxes from Black Needle Society. I have gone to 2 different retreats, and I've done way too much stitching, and I think I've lost my mind. Tonight I'm here to do my confession. Hi! How's everyone doing? My name is Melissa. This is my channel, Geeky Witch, about all things cross-stitch in my life. And yeah, it's been over a month. It is August 1st, 2025. It's about 20 after 11 at night, which is oddly the first time I've been able to get to do a Flosstube video. I'm a little tired. I'm a little punchy in a sarcastic, silly sort of way, not in a mean sort of way. And I think I want to get this done so I can say hi to everybody and show you what's been going on. So let's do this. When last we met, I had just done Stitch Mania and I was getting ready for Frogwarts, and then something odd happened. Where is he? One moment. Let me show you what has happened. Let's get the boxes over. Alright, so in June, this guy happened. Oops. Yeah, I know you're going to growl. This is Empress. Empress is our new kitty. Yeah, you don't want to be picked up right now, do you? Okay. Empress came in and shoved his way through the line of random cats outside our door. He was pretty badly hurt from some cat fights. Had both of his paws were really beat up and gross, and needed antibiotics and all that kind of stuff. And by the time we got done with getting him cleaned up for that and getting vaccines in him, we'd spent enough money that he became ours because nobody claimed him on all the websites that we posted him on as, hey, found cat. Got him in this week to get neutered, and he is now the new indoor cat. He has been living in my office since the end of June. I did the 2 cross-stitch retreats with a cat confined here in my office with me, which was a little interesting. But he's doing fine. We're trying to get him to be buddies with Toby, who is currently over in his box that you always see on the side of my desk. And they definitely tolerate each other, which is good. And I'm hoping now that Empress doesn't have his hormones anymore from being Randy little boy, that, and maybe he calms down a little bit and they can be buds. Cross his fingers, because Toby is a loner in this house, and we would like him to not be. All right, so other stuff that has happened. Let's see. All right, like I said, I attended 2 retreats. I attended Frogwarts, which is hosted by the Black Needle Society, and then actually 3 retreats, because I don't think I've talked about, no, 2 retreats. There wasn't anything in June. My brain always thinks of midsummer, religiously. Midsummer is in June, not July, but for Lindy Stitch's midsummer, it was actually, as it says on the tin, and was in the middle of the summer, in July. So I attended 2 virtual retreats back to back in July. Stitched my heart out for Frogwarts, so much so that by the next weekend for Midsummer Stitch, I honestly didn't stitch all that much because I was still burnt out from the week before. But I did enjoy listening to videos and learning about a couple of new designers that I wasn't familiar with, and hanging out a little bit and talking to people. But I was still burnt. So that might not have been my best choice of doing 2 back-to-back weekends. But they were fun, and great events, both of them great events. Now just enjoying the rest of the summer, kind of doing my own thing until school starts at the end of August. And then my big retreat season kicks off for the fall. Let's see what else is going on. I am selling off a bunch of stash. I've needed to sell it for a while, and it's stuff that I know I'm never gonna stitch, and I've got too much stuff. I love having a lot of stash to go through and wish about and dream about and whatnot. But I've gotten to the point that I'm like, if I want to get new stuff, I have to get rid of some old stuff. And also, due to some stuff with my husband's job, we're looking to move next year. So I need to downsize a little bit of my stash for the move. So, and also, to help kind of get some finances in order and stuff. I'm not expecting it to be a ton of money, but hey, even if it's like one credit card payment, I'm going to be very, very happy. What are you doing over there? Cat's making messes. All right. So if you want to see what I have that I'm offloading, you're welcome to come into the group. I'll link it down below. It's a Facebook page. It's just kind of like an alter ego page for me. I'm trying to put stuff up as I get through it. I put some stuff up in June. There's still plenty left. Put some stuff up about a week ago in July. There's still plenty left. I'll continue to put stuff up off and on as I get through things and, try to move out as much as I can. And then I think probably by November, whatever's left over, I'll probably bring to a freebie table at one of the retreats. Please don't be singing, dear. You're okay. All right. So that catches you up on all the stuff. I'm going to do these boxes at the end. I'm going to show you what I've been working on June and July. And then I'll do these because I know not everybody's into unboxing and people would rather see stitching. But if you'd like to hang out for both, you're more than welcome to do so. So, big things that happened. Well, Tudor Rose Sampler Guild has a stitch along this summer, and we are doing Bees in the Greenhouse by the Blue Flower. I downloaded this right from our website, so I do not have a color copy, but this is what it looks like finished. And super, super cute. And love the 3D shapes. And this is, I've only been stitching on this when I've been hanging out with them, during the stitch alongs, although I'm planning on working on it a lot more this weekend to try to push it. It's actually stitching kind of fast. So this is what I have done so far. This fabric is kind of a tricky color. It's called Through the Stones from Stitch Me. It's 40 count. So I'm stitching with one thread over two holes and doing everything in the charted DMC. The fabric is, it looks really gray to me on my screen, but it's kind of a greenish gray. It has a very soft green look to it, and I just thought it would be really, really pretty. And the white does show up really well on it, but it's almost got a subtle look to it, so it makes it look even lacier than I think the original did. And I love it. So I have the first panel just about done. There's 4 more panels to go. We are having, the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild is having Janine McGowan from the Blue Flower come to our guild meeting on Tuesday, and she is going to show us how to finish it. If you are someone who is interested in guilds, possibly, you can join the Zooms for Tudor Rose Sampler Guild. You can join 2 of them for free. So this would be one of the weeks that I would recommend. If you want to check us out, this would be a good one to do. There's a lot going on in this guild. We have a ton of stuff going on. And even though it's called Sampler Guild, which is, the main focus and the main tie of everybody, that's not all people work on. People are working on all sorts of stuff. And we love just seeing everybody's stitching. So it is just embrace the stitching. We have about 280 members now. Everything's done by Zoom. The meetings are the first Tuesday of every single month, with the exception of July, because, it's the summer and everyone's gone. And in this case, that wound up being like 4th of July week, so no one was going to be able to make that meeting. We have a couple of different workshops every year where people come in and teach. We have presentations almost every single month from different designers or folks that do research on samplers or different types of stitching. And they just come and talk to us, and we learn about, the history of something, or how to finish something, or whatever else, all sorts of different topics about stitching. So if you're interested in that and you would like to see what a sampler guild is all about, come join us. I will put the link for Tudor Rose below, and drop us a line. And if you see this and drop us a line by this Sunday, so August 3rd, I'll be able to get you this Zoom and send it to you so you can join the meeting on this Tuesday. Otherwise, we'll catch you up the following month. We do not record the meetings, partially because of copyrights from the folks that are presenting, but just that it's extra work that the board, which I'm on, we're doing it for free, just because we want the board to succeed. But it's just an extra step that, because of copyright issues, is a little bit too much of a headache. So there won't be a recording of this. You have to hang in. You have to be on there live to be able to enjoy it. But come check us out. Memberships will open again starting in January. It is a very reasonable, about $40 a year to join. Kits and, kits for the workshops and kits for projects and whatnot are, of course, extra, but they're optional. It's what you want to do and what you can afford. But all of the programs every single month are included in your membership, and we also have some stitch alongs and all sorts of fun little things throughout the year. So come check us out. We'd love to have you. And if you're in New England, then maybe we can get a group hanging out around here. All right, so that's my pitch. We'll move on from there. So this is our summer stitch along for Tudor Rose this year, and we have one more stitch in that's going to be happening in a couple of weeks on it. But Janine McGowan, as I said, is coming to show us the finishing next week. Well, in like 4 days. And I won't have it done by then, but hopefully pretty soon after that. So I've got a little bit of work done on that. And then the chaos started. And the chaos would be Frogwarts. So Frogwarts is now on its 6th year. It is a virtual retreat that's held every year in July. It's a 5-day retreat by the Black Needle Society, and it's themed to the Harry Potter movies. Well, the books, actually, and the movies. And every year being, the next book. So this year was year 6, was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Next year will be the Deathly Hollows combined, basically by the book, not the movies. You know, there's 2 movies, but 1 book. So by the book. And then the following year, they're going to do an in-person reunion retreat for folks who attended at least one of the virtual retreats, which will be a lot of fun. And I'm really hoping I can go to that because I would love to meet Laura and Katie in person, and also some of the folks that I've seen off and on now since year 2, because the only one I have missed was the first one, simply because I didn't know it existed. I think I found out about it like the day after the retreat ended or something like that. So I have attended every year since then. Frogwarts is its own animal. It is pure chaos. What happens is before the retreat, so in this case on the 29th of June, there's a big kickoff where anyone who wants to attempt to finish the entire sampler for the year, by the end of the retreat, they have a kickoff time that everyone can start at the same time. And folks that are competing in Frogwarts are placed into houses, and you get points for different things throughout the weekend. And there's, you know, individual points, there's team points, there's house points. Some of them are hour-long stitching challenges to see how many stitches you can get done in an hour, based on a certain motif or a word or a color, whatever they decide to do. They give you all the information ahead of time so you can plan your stitching. But a lot of people stick to working on that year's piece. There are stash dives, which honestly is my favorite part of the weekend because I can pull everything off of those shelves and make an absolute mess of my office, and see the stuff that I forgot that I had. It's a lot of fun. And I'm still recovering trying to clean it up a month later. They play Quidditch, which is kind of a digital dive, but a team sport. I have not done that because it winds up being at a time that I really just need to get some food in me and just stretch and get away from the computer for a little bit. So that's my break time. They do digital dives, which are just like stash dives. It's scavenger hunts for 20 things or so. And otherwise, it's just you watch the movies. You know, there'll be like little emoji prompts. Hey, you know, raise your wand for Harry, that kind of thing. And everyone puts in a wand or whatever in the chat. It's a lot of fun. There is nothing else like it. It is just insane. It is the only time of year that I think I am willing to be that nuts and glued to this chair for virtually 5 days straight. Like I barely move out of this room, and it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun. I decided this year, for the second year, to attempt to finish the sampler. I didn't do it, but I did better than I did last year, so I consider that a win. I had a lot of fun, and I have never done this many stitches in 2 weeks in my life. I wound up, when I totaled it all up, let me get my notes here in my planner, because I actually wrote it down. All right. So during the retreat weekend itself, so from Wednesday, July 9th to Sunday, July 13th, I did 4,549 stitches in 5 days. 1,500 of that was on Friday. Between the 29th of June and the 13th of July, I did 8,446 stitches. That is redonkulous for me. I know there's some people that do stitch super, super fast, but for perspective, on an average night, I maybe do 200 to 300 at most. So this was just completely off the cuff. All right, so let me show you what I got done, and you'll see I got a lot done. So the things we have a way, things we lose have a way of coming back to us in that's going to be the end. That's last year's. That's the bottom of last year's. So everything below that is what I've done since the 29th of June. I am doing it in the charted colors, and I am really, really, really happy with what I got done. I'm very proud of what I got done, honestly. I am going to set this up to have it as a finish next year during the retreat. The first 2 years that I was at the retreat, I actually didn't work on the retreat piece. 1 year I wasn't on a team. And the first year I was on a team, but I didn't understand quite what I was doing. So I kind of was just working on whatever I could to fit the prompts and whatnot, and kind of just went along. So it wasn't until the 4th year I was like, you know what, let me try stitching on this during the retreat. That 4th year, I did not do the challenge. I was just working on it, just to work on it during the retreat. Last year, I decided I was going to try to do it start to finish during the retreat, and I got close. I have worked on it since then, so it does look like I have more done on it than I do this year, but they're honestly about the same. So this is everything on years, excuse me, 4, 5, and 6 so far that I have done. And it is a really fun sampler. There's a ton in it, obviously, but there are some huge swaths of stitching which can bog you down in a hurry, and all of the words down on the bottom are over 1, which I am doing this on 40 count, so those things are really over 1. This is all on, oh, what is the name of it? I think it's called Alfred, is the color of the fabric. It's from Fortnite Fabrics, which I haven't heard anything from in a while. I don't know if they're still dying or not. But yeah, so that's what I have done so far. And obviously this is the maze from the 4th book, and this is all the stuff from the 5th book, and this is the 6th book. These vanishing cabinets were deceivingly, they like, one cabinet is 1,000 stitches. That thing took me a whole day of challenges. I'm like, am I ever going to get this thing done? I'm going to get stuck on these cabinets and I'm never going to get anything done. Thankfully, once I kind of gave up on the cabinets for a bit, and I started doing all of my diamonds down here, and that went really well, and I cleared that in a day. Before the retreat started, on the recommendation of a few people, I did get all of the over 1 in, because I didn't want to do that for a stitching challenge, because yeah, that's super tiny. And I tried to get as many straight lines in before the retreat so I could work on fill-in. Didn't quite work as I'd hoped, but like I said, I got a lot done. I have not worked on this since the retreat. I burned myself out after that 5 days, but super happy how it's coming out. And that will be set up to finish next year. I do not have a color printout of everything to date, but I have a black and white from when I downloaded the year 6 to start it off early. And that is what the first 6 years look like. The 7th year is not designed yet. Katie Landis of Black Needle will design it, and that will be released for the retreat next year. And I have a feeling once all of these are done, then all of the designs will probably be available on their website for purchase by anybody else. So, but isn't it fun? I mean, it is a very full occupied sampler, but it's so fun. And there's so much little stuff to explore and find in there. So, I don't think I can get it ready to have everything done for that in-person retreat. Knowing me with my stitching, I think that's out of my realm of possibility, but I'd like to at least get them all started before I go to that retreat. Okay, next on the list. So, all right, back up a little. So, Frogwarts ended on the 13th, and I had a couple of days off, enjoyed some self-pampering time with a massage, which after Frogwarts and sitting in this chair for 5 days, the massage was heavenly. I went to a place where I could do a long foot soak called The Blend in Westport, Mass, which was absolutely heavenly. And the um, the people that were there were just a riot. So relaxed, so happy. I left just like skipping. Definitely going back there. Um, so had a couple of good days to myself. I finally got my nails done, pampering myself a little bit. And then the next weekend, Lindy Stitches hosted the Midsummer Stitch. And I was so excited to go stitch, and I got there and I realized I was still burnt out from Frogwarts, and I barely stitched that weekend. I did have a good time. I enjoyed listening to the new designers to me chat about their stuff and, introduce themselves. There were some Flosstubers there that I wasn't as familiar with, and others that I was definitely familiar with. So listening to them was nice, but I didn't get much stitching done because I was just burnt from Frogwarts, and that's okay. I still had a good time. My opinion is that the Lindy Stitches retreats are still like one of the best ones going, especially for those who are on a really tight budget, because it's the cost of going to a movie. I mean, it's like, yeah, unless you're taking one of the classes, then it could get a little more expensive. But it's like $12 to $15. So, that's going to a movie at the movie theater. Or heck, going and getting a fast food meal. Um, Very reasonably priced to be able to attend for the whole weekend. So if you've never been to a retreat and you're a little intimidated to go in person, try one of those. You're not going to be out a whole ton of money, and you kind of come and go as you want and come and go as you are, and you're in the comfort of your own home, and it's like a nice safe way to toe in, if you haven't been to one before. And who knows, you might find someone local to you and you can meet up with them. So yeah, I went to that one. Didn't do as much as I'd hoped, but that's okay because I'd done so much the week before. I did, though, start a piece that I've been meaning to start now for a year. And I'm going to be doing this one twice. This is called Elephant Baby, and it's from Ursula Michaels. Hey, cute. Um, so my family is having a few babies. Max was the beginning. My son Max was the beginning of it, and he is now 12. But now, two of my cousins have had babies. We have a little boy and a little girl, and another little girl on the way, which is awesome. So, baby samplers, gotta do them, right? I bought this down in Hilton Head in South Carolina a couple of years ago when my family went down there. There's a shop down there called Needlepoint Junction, which is mostly needlepoint, but they do have some cross stitch, and fell in love with this. And I bought another one as well. Brought them both to my cousins and said, which one would you prefer for your little one. They both picked this one. So I could show it because they both know what's coming to them. But yeah, so I'll be stitching this one twice. Um, this is being stitched on 14 count Ada from the kit with the kitted DMCs. And this is the start that I got on it the other week. Not a lot, but I mean, this isn't a complicated pattern, so I think this is going to stitch up pretty quickly. Haven't decided, but actually this might come with me to the library tomorrow because this one's a super easy one to stitch. We'll see. But yep, that's that one. So another start for the year of my year of stitching whatever the heck I want to stitch on. And then what happened was a group of the girls that were in Frogwarts decided that they wanted to do a stitch along for the countdown to next year's Frogwarts. We tried doing this last year, and I think everyone's lives just did what lives do, and it fell apart. And I think it fell apart like within a couple of weeks. None of us were doing this. But in the year 5 box, we received a bunch of cards that had stitching challenges inspired by the Wizarding World, and there are 52 of them, conveniently for 1 week each. So, you know, shuffle your cards, pull one, and like, for example, the first week I got was stitch on a project with a dress. Or second week was stitch on a project with a door. So people are now doing this and they're pulling cards every week. And if they don't have a set of the cards, you know, they might tag onto somebody else's cards or something like that. And find something in their stash that they can join in on to stitch on. And a lot of us are doing it in the same way that the stitching challenges are done. So we're going to time it for an hour and see how far we get. Other people are just setting, I'm going to do this many stitches on it, or I'm going to do this many hours on it. Your piece, your rules, however you want to work it. We're pulling, you know, one card every week. We're pulling them on Wednesdays. Probably Wizarding World Wednesdays. I don't know if you want to be, you got to do alliteration, right? It's a requirement. I am, just because my weeks can get a little wonky, I pulled everything for August so that I can kind of get my head around what I need to stitch on, and wrote them down in my planner so I can, you know, figure out what I'm stitching on for that. So the first week I pulled dress. Second week I pulled door, which will be the piece that I'm going to show you in a moment. Then, get this. I forgot to write down a week, I think. Did I? Oh, wait, no, I put them in. That's right, I put them in the monthly thing. No, I didn't. It would help if I wasn't looking in July, and then I would actually find them. Okay. No. Yes, I did write it down. Okay, so next week is a project with back stitching. The week after that is a project from a book or a magazine. The week after that, which now we're on August 20th, is a project with an umbrella. And on the 27th is a project with a snake, which might be when I start one of the other Harry Potters. Or I might actually work on one of the ones I have, because there's Nagini is on one of those. So I'm going to be pulling mine once a month, just so I can write them down and kind of just get an idea to figure out what I got among my whips, because I don't want to start things for every single one of these. I've got pieces that I can throw stitches in for almost every single one of these with no problem. Including one with a door. I haven't worked on the one with the dress yet. I got to catch that one up. But there was a piece that I kind of kept looking at, and I'm like, I have other pieces with houses that have doors. I don't need to start another one. I'm like, but it's my year of starting whatever the heck I want when I want. So let's start this thing, because you've been looking at it now for years. So last Friday, I started The Blue Boar Inn by Brenda Keyes. Hopefully this will focus. Pretty little sampler, right? Well, the history in it, apparently Brenda does all of her stuff on 25 count, and instead of doing cross stitches, she does everything in tent stitch or half cross. And I said, you know what? Why don't I try that? Because I actually have never stitched a piece like that. So let's give that a shot and let's see how this goes. So I pulled out a piece of 32 count. Yeah, my needle just went crazy. 32 count, random neutral, unlabeled. I just know it's 32 count because it was in my 32 count bin. And I am stitching this over one on 32 count with one thread, 1 over 1, and that is just tent stitch. There we go. There it focuses. That's just tent stitch. I'm not doing a full cross, and the coverage is actually really, really good. So that is the beginning of, just to pull this back up, that is over here on this side of the house. So this is going to be super, super tiny, and I'm kind of liking it, kind of digging it, and it goes fast because I'm only doing one leg. So we'll see how fast this thing goes. I am doing this in DMC, in the charted DMC, and depending on how big it is, which I don't think is going to be that big at all, I may just finish it as like a little pillow, like a long, elongated pillow, because I think it'd be really, really cute. But yeah, so that's start number 13, I think, this year. Finishes? What's a finish? Never heard of a finish. We'll get finishes in. I actually have a couple of pieces that are looking really good to finish. So that's all of my stitching so far. So as far as what I have planned for August, I am participating in Semi-Sane Stitchers bingo game this month. So every day they are pulling a number of DMC colors, and you pick what type of a board you're doing depending on how many stitches you're willing to do a day, and on those colors. And you have to stitch all of that color on one piece. Fine. You know, and see how many of the colors you get a day, and you're marking off a bingo board, just like you would, you know, if they were calling numbers in bingo. They called the first one today, and I had one number out of the 10 or 12 that they called. So, and I'm doing the easiest version, but that's okay. I pulled 4 pieces out to just see what I can get done on them, and just to have a little fun and, you know, make some progress. My next big month of stitching is going to be September, because I will be doing Sampler September. And that will be my next episode, as I show you what I have planned for September. Because there be samplers in this house. Okay, so now that that's over, why don't we do some boxes? So I have received 3 boxes. I have the Frogwarts box here. I have the Specialty Stitching in the TARDIS box, the Doctor Who box, which I was so excited to get. And then yesterday I got my bi-monthly subscription box. So 2 of these are special boxes, 1 is a subscription box. And we will start with Frogwarts, because that was the first one that arrived. And I do want to get these put away. Okay, so Frogwarts box comes looking like a trunk. Ain't it cute? The pattern is floating around here somewhere. I think I accidentally, the hard copy that we get in the box, I think I accidentally swooped into my stash bins back there after one of the stash dives, so I need to find it. But I have my black and white working copy, so yeah, I can find it whenever. So, other stuff, though, in this box. Black Needle always has a little spoiler detail so you know what is supposed to be in the box, which is very handy because, you know, they're packing them by hand and every once in a while something can get missed. So you have your little card with all your information. First thing, every single year we get a mug, a gorgeous mug. They all match. They're all the same style. And these are like, if you're doing this on a Keurig, this is the big one. Great sized mugs. So that's the year 6. We received a piece of fabric. Pull this up for you, and I'll get the details on it because it didn't have a label on the fabric. Okay, this is called the Pensive. It's dyed by Laura's Fabrics. Oh, and I don't know what count it is. That's the only problem. But based on what it looks like, I'm going to say it's either... It looks like it's 32. So this is a very, very pretty, not quite a periwinkle blue, but like maybe a slightly more grayish periwinkle, if that makes sense. Really pretty. Very gently modeled. Yeah, I'm going to have fun stitching on this, and I think I already know what I want to put on this. So there's that. Every year we get a needle minder, which of course is sticking to things. So this year we have the Slug Club. Focus. There we go. Come on, camera. Can you focus for me? No? Okay. Anyway, we have a needle minder. Their needle minders are the nice metal ones, really nice quality ones. We got a Pygmy Puff scissor fob. They are just adorable. We received in a pretty little envelope, which I may be saving the envelope because I actually might use it for pen paling. We received some very ornate floss drops that are themed after some of the potions from Harry Potter. Really, really pretty. And you see that envelope, we got a little bag that matches it. Good for all of your little gizmos and gadgets, or in my case, it probably will be used for like smalls and ornament stitching, because I love to put the really small projects in these sizes of bags and save the bigger bags for bigger projects. So we have that. We also received, and I haven't taken out the plastic yet, a full-size project bag. And these project bags that they give us are an awesome size. They're a little bit bigger than, they're kind of like a 10 by 14, 10 by 15. So they're like a really nice size. They're more almost bigger than a legal piece of paper, actually. So this is Luna's Spectra Specs this year. And these pouches are really nicely lined. They've got like a kind of a satin lining on the inside of them. I have to keep these out of the way from my cats because they are that fabric that if they get a hold of them, they will try to pick on them. So I do have to keep them under wraps from them. Let's see, that's the box from the mug. We received the pattern, obviously, which I showed you my stitching on that so far. Every year we receive a selection of specialty flosses from Color and Cotton that are themed to Harry Potter with the cutest. They come in every flavor floss little compartment. This year we have Bombarda, we have Treacle Tart, we have Dobby's Sock, which is a lot more dingy than it's coming up looking in my video. We have Felix Felicis, which is the Lucky Charm. And we have the Pumpkin Pasty, which is very pumpkin-y. So, very, very pretty flosses. I actually have one of these I'm using instead of one of the called for flosses on the projects. Then we always receive a couple of just like funky themed things to that year. So we have Hermione Granger's license to do Apparition, which was kind of cool. And we received a copy of the locket with the note that was found in the locket. And yes, it does open, so you can use it as a real locket. Isn't that cool? I kind of want to like put a couple of extra chains off of it and actually use it like as a chatelaine, and just have like all my tools hanging off of it. I might have to do that. And finally, I almost forgot because it slipped out of the box. I got a very cute project mat for when you go to a retreat. So this is, it has a magnet to hold it shut, which is awesome, and then some strings so you can tie it, you know, to keep your project in there, keep your flosses in there. You have a little tuck-in stuff for your scissors and maybe a little needle case, and to keep all of your orts handy and all that kind of stuff. Really, really cute. And of course with the sleeping pictures, come on, there you go, focus. I don't know what's up with my camera. All of the wall paintings. So that was the Frogwarts box. Awesome box, as always, for Frogwarts. Very, very happy. Great retreat. Sad it's over, but also recovering. So I'll put all of this stuff in the box, and we will move to box number 2. Let me not break things. Okay. Second box I received was the Stitching in the TARDIS box. And I don't think I'm going to throw this box out. Because it's a TARDIS box. I am a huge fan of Doctor Who. I have been a fan since shortly into the revival when it came back in 2005. I am a David Tennant fan beginning to end. I don't care that he keeps coming back because I love seeing him on screen, even though I know he's not everybody's taste, but I am a David Tennant fan. My honeymoon for my wedding was themed around going to see David Tennant in Shakespeare playing Hamlet. We flew to England because it was David Tennant. And I wasn't the only one who decided to do that. My husband wanted to go too, just so everybody knows. Okay, so I was all sorts of excited to get this box because Doctor Who, yes please. So again, we get the spoiler thingy. And in this box, so some of this stuff, if you have not watched Doctor Who, you might not understand some of the references. I'll kind of just give a quick rundown of some of these so it makes sense. The first thing we have is a candle that's called Fish Fingers and Custard. That is a reference to the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. And it smells... there is no fish, thankfully. Caramelized sugar, custard, vanilla, maple, which is pretty much what it smells like. It's like, it smells very, very like the candied apple caramel on top of it. So, a little candle. Next, we have the needle minder. And I put it back in the bag. I usually don't have them in the bags because I am not one of those people that likes the crinkly sound in videos of unboxing. We have the needle minder with Bad Wolf, which is a reference from the 9th and 10th Doctor, and possible spoilers coming forward, but I'm not sure yet. Played by Billy Piper. So, always like needle minders. Okay. Next, we have a set of floss drops with different doctors, different companions. So, yes, there is David Tennant and River Song. Do we have Judy on here? I think they're all in. Yeah. So there's a nice handful of everybody in here. Here's Billy Piper. So, floss drops, always appreciated, and I love it when they're pretty like that. Next, we have floss, and this time it's from Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, which is I think a new to me group. So we have Alonzi, which was said by the 10th Doctor. We have Bow Ties Are Cool, which was from the 11th Doctor. And we have Geronimo, which I believe also was the 11th Doctor. I think. They might have both said that. But that is like a... how many yards? It feels like... it's 10 yards. Okay, I was going to say, it feels like a very ample skein of floss. So yeah, 10 yards each of those. Cotton flosses. Put those back in the thing. Keep those in the... they're always sent in one of these neat little containers. And they're just like the one from the Frogwarts box, but they usually look like this. Okay. Next, that is not part of the box. That was from something else. We have, from Bestitch Me, we have 16 count Ada, an 1/8 yard of All of Time and Space. Love this fabric. Love, 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 love. I would love it a little bit more if it was in linen, but I will take Ada. Gorgeous fabric. It is coming out, it's a little bit darker to my eye than it's coming off on the screen, but just gorgeous. And if it measures right, I already know what's going on it. So, because it's in the box. All right, next, More mugs. A even bigger mug with quotes from Doctor Who. And good solid coffee mug. That actually is more of like a soup mug. That might wind up being a soup mug. Because it might be a little too big for a coffee mug for me. Alright. Next, and I genuinely squealed when this came out. If you are a Doctor Who fan, you know exactly what this is. This is from the 10th Doctor, from his 3rd season, episodes 8 and 9, that are when he goes undercover and puts his brain into, and all of his memories into a stopwatch. It is based off of an old Doctor Who book, actually. And then they made it into the 2-part, and it was one of my favorites. So, but yes, it is, and it is in fact a working pocket watch. So cool. I will be. I got to figure out when I can completely dress up steampunky and use this thing, because it's just awesome. I don't know where Katie and Laura found these, but oh my god. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I squealed when that came out, and then I squealed again when the TARDIS Traveler's Notebook came out. A, I'm a journal fiend, and B, it's a TARDIS version. Included are a couple of notebooks inside to get you started, and I am going to have a lot of fun journaling with this. So awesome. So much fun. Okay, after that does not belong in here. These, I got one of these in my newest box too. So this is a heat transfer. Never fail to be kind. Which is to put like on a t-shirt or a bag or something. I got to figure out the right thing that I want to put this on. But super, super pretty and different. That's the first time I've seen one of those come through on one of these boxes. Okay. Next is the Doctor Who project bag with everybody on it. And these are the same designs that are on those floss drops. So Weeping Angels on there. Yeah. Daleks, Cybermen, everything glorious with the Doctors. Sorry for the crunchies. Haven't taken it out of the bag yet. Then I cracked up laughing because one of the things that Black Needle has had are a few little snail patterns. I don't know what it is with snails. A few people are putting snails out, but we have Dr. Snail, which I will stitch. That is not what I'm planning on putting on that fabric, although probably would look awesome on him. But so we have this little guy, and then we have the big project, and this is what I am planning. If it fits, this is what's going on that fabric. If not, I have fabric that I can definitely make work. Look at this. It's like, so we've got the TARDIS, we've got the wibbly wobbly timey wimey, we've got Daleks, we've got a bow tie, we have Cybermen down the sides, and we have the Weeping Angel at the top. And on top of all of that, it kind of looks like the door from Lord of the Rings to me. there's really nothing not to love here. So this is going to be getting started soon. And I'm hoping that it fits on that fabric because I think it would look amazing. If it doesn't though, I've got other fabric that I think it will look amazing on too. So, yes! I saw this and I was like, ugh! But of this box, that pocket watch just took my breath away. That was the thing. I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe I have this. Yeah, as a geek, that's a Doctor Who geek. Yeah. All right, I have random plastic bags now, so we will put this one away to be put in its appropriate areas tomorrow because I've had these boxes just sitting on my floor now for weeks and they're kind of taking up room. All right, and the last box, which, as I mentioned, just arrived yesterday. So I just opened this morning. And this is the subscription box. So I pay for the yearly subscription. We get 6 boxes a year. Those other 2 are specialty boxes that you order separately. And this month's is themed Dare to Dream, the July edition. So first off, we have our floss. And this month, we have silks from Stitchy. We have Witchy. These are all 5 yards. Witchy. We have Imagination, which is kind of like a softer versions of Bradley's Balloons from Threadworks, if you're familiar with that. And then we have Solar, which is the brightest yellow that you could possibly have. Really pretty. They like all kind of interrelate, but not directly together. It's like you could do 2 of either of these, but not all 3. But very, very pretty. All right. Next, we have a collection of floss drops and a ring, 4-set floss drops. And the ring is just, you know, your basic ring. But this time, it's all watercolor paints that are being used to dream up and imagine new worlds. So they're all the same. It's a selection, it looks like, of 10. So, very, very pretty. And I used to be a bobbin person, but I am getting converted to floss drops. I really do like them. So, those will get used pretty quickly. Again, possibly with the pattern in this box, because it's one that speaks to me for a variety of reasons that I'll explain. Okay, the needle minder is the Midnight Stitching Society coffee mug, and as it is now 12:21 in the morning, I think this fits me just fine. Cute little needle minder. You might see it among things. I might need to use this tonight up in bed after all of this. It is my eye mask with retching stitch face. I definitely have resting stitch face. That'll come in handy. I've actually never used an eye mask. I'm going to hold off on the project bag because it relates to the pattern. Okay, so fabric this month is from Colors and Cotton. Color and Cotton. Sorry, there's no S on colors. This is called Wish Upon a Star. It's 32 count Belfast, and it is a really nice neutral. kind of a, not quite raw linen. It's a little bit softer than that, but it's kind of on that tone. It's a little bit darker than natural, I would say. 1/8 yard. Really, really pretty. Anything could go on this. So, nice, versatile piece. Then we have another one of those heat transfers. Sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast, obviously from Alice in Wonderland. I may have to make project bags. Put those on a project bag. Okay, and the pattern and the project bag have the same thing on them, which is why I'm holding them at the same time. So I'm not going to sing. I can't sing, especially not this late at night. But just reading this, I read it in Jean's voice. This is, of course, from Willy Wonka, and it's the song when they go into the chocolate room. And the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of those movies that I grew up with, the 1970s version. And it is, in my opinion, the only version. So I saw this in the box. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to stitch this too. And I think I'll do it in the colors that it calls for. I'm pretty sure I will. I think they have it here on French Lilac, which I have. I'm stitching on French Lilac for my Barnwood Buttons by Rosewood Manor. I might go all the way to a black for this, for the background. I think it's going to pop on black. It will on purple too, but I think I'd like it better on black. So we've got that. And then we have the matching, upside down, project bag with the same thing. The designer of this is Kristen De Palma. And so my understanding is that she made the design for the project bag and then Katie charted it, which is awesome. So it says, we were honored to convert this exclusive lettering art into a cross-stitch pattern in collaboration with Kristen De Palma of KDP Letters Designs. Kristen is a lettering artist in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She's not lettering. She spends most of her time antique shopping and watching junk and true crime TV. Don't we all? So yeah, awesome. And that was this month's box. So I am happy, and I've got a whole ton of goodies that I now need to put away or kit up or whatever needs to be done with it. And I think I'm caught up, finally. So thank you for sitting here and going through all of this with me. It is now 12:30 in the morning, and I probably should go to bed because I have to get up in the morning, and I need to put together cucumber sandwiches, tea sandwiches for stitching tea party tomorrow at the Warwick Public Library. And then when I get home, I will edit this and get this up so you can enjoy it tomorrow night. So thank you all for joining me and for having the patience with me to, wait for a month to have another video. And I will see you hopefully a lot sooner than this gap. Take care, everybody, and happy stitching. Bye.